Okay, so, we've all been there, right? Staring down a coding interview problem,
Yeah.
like to some, and feeling that knot in your stomach, like a mix of excitement and like low-key dread. You want to crush it, obviously, but you also know it's not just about like spitting out some memorized code.
Right.
You want to get the why,
I hear you.
which is what makes this whole hidden hints thing in interviews so fascinating, right?
Absolutely.
You've been digging into that, how to spot the hidden hints source, which is awesome because it gets right to that deeper level.
Yeah, it's not just about the code itself.
Exactly. It's like the interviewers are dropping these clues to see if you can think like an engineer, not just,
Code monkey.
Yeah, exactly. And the source really digs into why this hint spotting skill is so crucial. They give, 4 main reasons?
4, yeah. And they're all about showcasing the skills that set you apart, the ones interviewers really value.
Right. It's about more than just getting to an answer. It's about getting to the best answer, the most efficient one.
Absolutely. And not just finding it, but understanding why it's the best, It shows a deeper level of problem solving.
Okay, so let's break those 4 reasons down. First up, finding that elegant, efficient solution. I mean, think about it. In a real job, you don't want to be the one stuck with spaghetti code.
Pressure.
Right.
And that actually ties into the second reason the source mentions. Interviewers, they expect this,
It's like a test in itself.
Kinda, yeah. It's like a signal that you're not just here to code, you're here to solve problems strategically. Like you're thinking several steps ahead.
It's like you're speaking their language, but in code.
Exactly. You get it. And that feeds into the third reason. Proving you're not just, we said it before, a code monkey.
Right. You're a problem solver, a strategist, all that good stuff.
Yeah. You're thinking critically, considering constraints, inputs, all the things that separate a good solution from a great one.
And let's not forget about time, right?
Yeah.
Because we all know how precious that interview time is.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
The fourth reason the source mentions is about speed. If you can spot that hint early on, you're not wasting time going down those rabbit holes.
Huge time saver. It's like, imagine you're in an escape room, right? Would you rather try every key on that giant key ring?
Or would you want that one clue that tells you exactly which key to use?
Right. That's what spotting a hint is like. It unlocks the solution path faster.
Yeah. So it's not just about getting the right answer. It's about showing you have the instincts of a master problem solver.
And that, my friend, is way more impressive.
Way more impressive. Because anyone can memorize leak code solutions, but knowing why one approach beats another, that's the real deal.
That's what sets you apart.
Exactly.
Shows you really understand what's going on under the hood.
That's what they're looking for.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we know these hints are like the secret sauce, right? But how do we actually find them? They're hidden for a reason.
Right. It's a bit of detective work. But luckily, the source gives us this awesome framework, 4 main categories of hints to be on the lookout for.
Oh, I love a good framework. Hit me with it.
All right, so first up, we've got input characteristics. This is where you put on your analytical glasses, really dissect the data they're giving you.
Okay, got it. So is it sorted? Unsorted? What are we dealing with here? Strings, numbers?
Exactly. And don't forget those sneaky constraints on the input size. Is it a small array, or are we talking millions of elements? These things, they might seem insignificant, but they can totally change your approach.
Right, because you might be tempted to just go with like your go-to nested loop, and then you're like, wait, this is a massive data set. I need to think bigger.
Exactly. Efficiency becomes your best friend. Now, once you've really scrutinized that input, shift gears to the output requirements.
Got it. So what are they actually asking for? A single answer, a list of things, a Boolean true or false.
Precisely. And don't overlook the order. Do they care if it comes back sorted, reversed? Those details show you're thorough.
Makes sense. Got to cover all the bases. Now, constraints, those always feel a little intimidating, like they're trying to box you in.
They can feel that way, yeah, but here's the thing. Constraints are your friends. Think of them like those guardrails on a bowling alley.
Okay, I like where this is going.
They might seem restrictive, but they actually help you avoid the gutter balls, They keep you on track.
Right, right. So how do we shift our thinking to see them as helpful hints, not scary limitations?
Think of them as guidelines. Are they mentioning time complexity, space complexity? Huge clues there. Those tell you what's going to fly and what's going to make your code a hot mess.
And then there are those edge cases lurking in the shadows.
Ah, yes, the edge cases. Always got to watch out for those empty inputs, negative numbers. Sometimes those edge cases hold the biggest clues, make you think outside the box.
Sneaky, sneaky.
Okay.
Okay, so we've covered input-output constraints. What about the actual wording of the problem itself? Can we squeeze hints out of that?
Absolutely. That's our fourth category, problem wording. Sometimes how it's phrased is super revealing.
Oh, give me an example of that. That's so tricky.
Sure, so let's say you see the words, find the most efficient, or optimize for. Dead giveaway right there, that they're not looking for just any solution. They want elegant, fast, minimal resources.
So you got to bring your A game.
Exactly. It's a hint to be thinking about time and space complexity right off the bat.
Like they're subtly nudging you towards a specific algorithm or something.
Exactly. And sometimes they'll even use real-world examples that, if you're paying attention, can give you a huge advantage. Like if they describe it in terms of a graph, a tree, a network, those are all hints about the underlying data structures.
Okay, I'm starting to feel like a coding detective here. This is good.
That's the spirit.
But there's one thing we haven't talked about yet. You mentioned asking clarifying questions. How does that fit into all this hint hunting?
Oh, such a good point. Sometimes the best way to uncover those hints is to ask smart questions. Shows you're engaged, not just passively absorbing info.
Right, like you're not afraid to be like, hey, can you clarify this for me? I want to make sure I'm on the right track.
Exactly. It not only gets you more information, but it also shows the interviewer how you think. Shows you're not afraid to ask for help when you need it, which is huge in any collaborative environment.
For sure. So how do we ask those clarifying questions without sounding like we're totally lost?
It's all about being strategic, framing it the right way. Like instead of just saying, is this array sorted? You could say, to make sure I'm using the most appropriate approach, would you say this input array is typically sorted or unsorted?
So it's like you understand there are options. You're just trying to pick the best path.
Exactly. Demonstrates that you're not just jumping into code blindly. You're analyzing, you're considering all of the factors.
Okay, I'm starting to feel like a coding detective here. We've got our magnifying glass, our 4 categories of clues, our clarifying questions. Let's put these skills to the test. What do you say we revisit our old friend, the two-sum problem?
Let's do it. It sounds deceptively simple, but as we've learned, those hidden hints can make all the difference.
Okay, so we've uncovered all these hints, right? Let's turn them into, like, a cheat sheet for our coding interview toolkit.
Exactly. Now that we've seen them in action, let's distill some actionable takeaways from the source.
Lay it on me.
First up, remember, that word efficient or optimize, huge red flag, right? Don't just brute force it. Think of it like, would you build a house with a sledgehammer? Or would you use the right tools for the job?
Right. Got to work smarter, not harder.
Exactly. There's usually a more elegant solution, and those keywords are your tip-off.
So if they're asking for efficiency, time to bring out the big guns.
Exactly. And speaking of big guns, when an input is sorted, that's like a cheat code. Use that binary search, the two-pointer method, make that code sing.
Seriously, sorted input. It's like a gift from the coding gods.
It really is. Makes your life so much easier. And remember those constraints. They're your friends. They're not just limitations. They're hints about the best data structures, the best algorithms.
Okay, yeah, that's a good way to think about it.
Like, if you're crossing a river, you wouldn't use a rowboat if there's a bridge right there.
Right. Constraints are like the bridges to efficient code.
Exactly. Now, what about when we're dealing with searching or matching? Any hints for those scenarios?
Yeah, those can be tricky.
Absolutely. Think hash tables or tries. They're like magic for speed and efficiency. Imagine trying to find a book in a library. You're going to search every shelf.
Or go straight to the card catalog.
Exactly. Hash tables, tries, they're your card catalog for code.
So keywords like search, match, look up. I should be thinking hash tables.
Bingo. And last but not least, keep an eye out for contiguous or consecutive. Dead giveaways that a sliding window technique or dynamic programming could be your secret weapon.
Okay, I'm not going to lie, this is a lot to keep track of.
Don't worry, it takes practice. You'll start to see these patterns. And even if you don't catch every hint, that's okay. It's a learning process.
Yeah, sometimes you don't even realize there was a hint until after the interview, right?
Absolutely. And hey, sometimes the interviewer will even point it out in the feedback, which is valuable in itself.
So it's not just about writing the code, it's about showing you can think critically, learn from your mistakes.
Exactly. It's about showing that you're adaptable, you're always looking to improve.
So much more than just coding, right?
Way more. It's about problem solving, communication, all those soft skills that make you a great engineer.
That's such a good point.
Yeah.
It's not enough to just be a code monkey. You have to be a communicator, a collaborator, a problem solver.
Exactly. Those are the skills that will make you stand out in an interview and in your career.
Well said.